fine. We're healthy. Everything's fine. Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm Mandi Grace. I have a head cold, so a bit stuffy. Also, if I talk for long periods of time, I start coughing like I'm dying. So this is gonna go really well. Today's video is my mid-month chit-chat, where I just set up the camera, and I have no plan, and I chit-chat. Except this time I kind of have a plan. Because all through the month, since my last mid-month chit-chat, where I wore this exact same shirt, don't question it, I've been writing down all the things that I'm like, oh, I should talk about that in mid-month chit-chat. So I don't have a script per se, but I have a list of things that I want, topics I want to hit this time around. I'm going to go make my tea, because I always drink tea out of a very specific mug, which wasn't made yet when I set up the camera, and instead of waiting, I was just like, let's go for it. We're also going to hope against hope that this does not turn on and start making ridiculous noises. I hear the tea, though. Okay. Tea, which is too hot to drink. It's coming over here. Here we go. Mid-month chit-chats. Are you still rolling? That's a good question. Oh, no. I forgot. Hold, please. So what happened was, I was down to 16 minutes of space, and I knew that I was going to probably talk longer than 16 minutes for my mid-month chit-chats, because I tend to chat a lot, and then try to trim it down. So anyway, I knew I needed more than 16 minutes, so I'd made this plan to put all of the footage of the other videos that I haven't edited and uploaded yet onto my computer. And then delete them. And then have a bunch of space. And what I did was I put all the files on my computer, and then I just set up the camera and skipped the deleting part, so I had to go back and do that. Ugh, wow. That was a lot, and we are finally ready for the actual video. Shall we begin? September, mid-month chit-chat. What's been happening this month? Wow. Okay, so first of all, I am the hottest hot mess right now. And this video will not in any way stop being as chaotic as it is right now. So enjoy this for the rest of whatever. At some point in all of the moving around of the camera, which I'm about to do for you, the camera got a bit blurry and I didn't know, so it stays that way for 90% of the video. Once again, you've been warned. I had a piece of paper that was here, I think, before I realized that I'd forgotten to delete things. Do you know what I did with it? Oh, I see it. Never mind. This is going well. I need to sit for this video because I am a hot mess. The problem is, you just sit there. My sister's currently visiting, and there's a suitcase where I sit, and it's too much work to move things. I said, ow! Ah! Eh! On my finger. Okay. Yeah, the September mid-month chit-chat, that's what's happening. Ugh, pull yourself together. I am feeling about as tired today as I did the last time I sat here in this shirt complaining about my life. But the difference is I've been super productive and it's been a great month and I love my life. I just happened to be sick today. But this is the only time to film, so here we are. My phone is not down here. I can't get to it. Hope it's not important. So the first thing on my list is the copyright claims on my YouTube channel. So this fun little story time. A while back, probably a long while for you because I get quite ahead on my filming videos and schedule them out long in advance. I uploaded one of my videos and then immediately got a copyright claim on it saying, you can't monetize this video. I can't anyway, I don't have enough subscribers. But anyway, yes, you can't monetize this video. All of the ad revenue or whatnot is going to go to the person who says that this is their thing. And what they were copywriting is the song in my intros. And they were like, this song, Garden of Groove, or whatever it was called, is ours, and we're claiming it. And I was like, that song is called All Is New. And you see there's this nice little site that this dude named Kevin has set up where he has royalty-free music, which he just offers to the world to use, to download, and he gives you this helpful little, like, use this in your, you know, description, or to, like, give me credit for it. So anyway, yes, I sit back on the dispute. I was like, no, I'm sorry. It's a different song. It's not called Garden of Groove. And then the very next video that I uploaded, like that day or the next day, I immediately got a copyright claim that was like, this song, Garden of Groove. And I was like, once again, this song is not called Garden of Groove. This song is called All Is New. And I found it on this site by Kevin, I want to say his last name is MacLeod, but I don't honestly remember and or know how to pronounce it. But anyway, yeah, him. And then I was like, and this is the site, and this is the royalty-free music that he offers, and this is the little thing that he says to put in your description, or to, you know, put at the end of your videos or wherever, to give him credit that he made this work or whatever. You have a license to use it. And then the very next video that I uploaded, I got a copyright that said, this song, Garden of Groove, is ours, and we're going to take the ad revenue off of it, so you can't monetize it. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I disputed it, and because at that point I was very frustrated. I was like, okay, to whom it may concern, it might behoove you to read your disputes, because I don't know how many ways I can say, this is not the song that you think it is. Nice try. Yeah. I was a little bit sassy on the last one, and I sent them. I never got any sort of, like, response to it, email-wise. I never got any, like, the claim wasn't taken down. They still say copyright claim on my YouTube videos. But they stopped claiming more videos, so nothing since those 3 have been claimed, so I don't know what that means. So anyway, that was the copyright claim story, basically. The next thing on my list is Quill and Cup, which I'm actually very excited about. Okay, so where to begin? I need my phone for this exercise, which I found, by the way, when I was going to get my tissues some time ago. In August. I got this message, right? Mandi, hi, my name is Anya, head coach at Quill and Cup, a sisterhood of writers who can't help but write. I just left the classroom as a high school English teacher to pursue the facilitation of this community of mine, and I saw your intro post and was like, what? I have a pet hedgehog. This was me. She's quoting me. I have a pet hedgehog who hates people and is super grumpy all the time. We get along great. Girl, the hedgie is like our official, unofficial mascot. We call our writing sessions prickles because a group of hedgehogs is called a prickle. Anyway, please come to a prickle. If nothing else, you can include an hour of writing during the week instead of just waiting for weekends or only the summer. Just a thought. Let me know. Okay. Whew. It was a lot. And then I responded because she was hilarious and I loved that they were called prickles and whatnot. And then she responded with more enthusiasm about the hedgehog and coming to a prickle and all the things. So, that very night, I went to a pajama prickle. And wore my pajamas, as one does at a pajama prickle, and I wrote some words, and I met Anya and various other people. That first prickle, they were just a bunch of names and faces, and I did not put them together in any way whatsoever, except for Anya. But anyhow, I wrote like almost 1,000 words that day. It was really good, and I liked the community of it. It was fun. I like writing with people. If you watch any of my writing vlogs, I will almost always go to YouTube and look for live writing streams, because I love writing with people. I love getting on AuthorTube and like doing it together, but not in person. I can't do the in-person thing. Cannot write when there are people in the room. Gotta be alone. But I love doing it virtually. So doing this Zoom call and writing together for an hour was exactly the sort of thing that I do anyway, but it was with a, you know, concentrated, specific group of people. That's not just going to be whoever I randomly Googled, basically. And I showed off Val at the Pajama Prickle, and everyone loved him, and he was like, why are you holding me up to a computer, you crazy person? Anyway, it was great, and I loved it, and the next day I was like, you know what? I'm doing it. So, I joined officially. There's a subscription, and I very, like, hesitantly thought, do I want to pay to be in a writing group that does almost basically the exact same thing that I do anyway with the live streams that I get on AuthorTube, especially because a couple of the live streams I've been going to, like with Bound by the Words, I started going every single Monday, and like they were starting to be a community of people that We actually knew each other's names and followed each other, and like, you know, it was starting to be a community. So anyway, I was a bit wary, but it was the very next day that I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. So I did. I have not regretted it a moment since then. So, after joining, I got on the Slack, which I didn't even know what Slack was, to be honest. Anya was like, you can get a week free on our Slack if you come to a prickle, and I was like, what? So anyway, I got on the Slack, and it's been amazing. I love talking to the other women on Slack on a daily basis and discussing our writing and like various like writing books, craft books that we are reading, and like everything. The other day we got into this whole like derailed thing of talking about NaNoWriMo. We were supposed to be doing our daily accountability, and then we just started talking about NaNoWriMo, and it was fun. Yes, there's that. So like the community on the Slack and then the writing like sessions with the prickles, I wrote so much. Wednesday I went to a prickle, but instead of writing words, I re-outlined my entire second novel in the fantasy series inspired by Arthurian legend, which was amazing, and I love it, and I just, at the last couple of days, I've just been staring at the outline. Not in a, what should I write next, but in a, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever done. On top of the prickles, where we write together, which has been insanely productive during the weekdays, and I love it. And then on top of the community in the Slack, which is super fun and great and whatever, and I found, you know, new friends on there. On top of all that, we also have prickles that are more like workshops or little like, I don't know, I want to say lectures, but they're not really lectures. So we have, since I joined, we had, why am I trying to think? I wrote these down. Oh, we had the one on self-love with a therapist who came and talked to us about things, which was really interesting. We had one on research, which I found fascinating and interesting, and I took notes. There's notes on all of these prickles in here. Look, they're research notes. But also, with the research one specifically, it was kind of like reading a book on writing craft and being like, well, I know these things, but good refresher. And then there was one that Anya did on show and tell versus show don't tell, and it was super interesting. I've bought another, forget the book buying ban, I've bought another book on writing stuff. It's not on writing craft specifically, but it's called the Emotion Thesaurus. It's about emotions. It's a thesaurus to figure out what characters are feeling, and then what sort of emotions they would naturally escalate or de-escalate towards, and like different. Anyway, it looked really fascinating and really helpful, and so I bought it. I think that's everything with the Quill and Cup. It's been amazing. I've been writing so much that I otherwise would not have written at all. I have a community now of people that I can just message the Slack and be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What are you writing? And like, you know, things. And we talk about everything. So one of the gals is publishing her book, and like we talk through her editor's notes and things like that. And one of the girls was figuring out how to, or like which quotes she wanted to use for like promos and teasers or whatever. And then, you know, I got to jump on and be like, these are the ones that like stick out to me as a reader, to be like, I would pick up a book from that, or not, as the case may be. It was just good stuff. It was the kind of feedback and community that I've been craving, because I have always been so jealous of the like niche that is like Bethany Altazada and Mandi Lynn and Brittany Wang and Jessie Elliott, and there's probably more that I'm missing, but like they're a thing, right? And I've always wanted that thing for myself, and I didn't have it, and now I do, and it's great. And I'm not even sorry that I had to like pay for it or whatever, because it's been so organic and real and raw, and I love these women. The next thing on my list is Publish and Thrive. I am finishing Module 3 tomorrow, because I have one today and one tomorrow, and then Module 3 is done. And then I'm moving on to Module 4, and I'm so excited. It's been moving along so swiftly. I do basically one every single day, as much as I can. I miss here and there, and also I was just camping for like 3 or 4 days, so miss those. But anyway, essentially, I'm trying to do one lesson every single day, and sometimes it's a 5-minute lesson, sometimes it's a 40-minute lesson, but I just try to do one every day. And it's been working. I've been taking notes, I've been learning things. Module 3 is the, like, business side of things, like keeping track of income, taxes, pen names, copyright, stuff. Do I want to have an LLC or just be a sole proprietor? I don't know. So, it's all of that stuff. and I have a lot of notes and a lot of thoughts, and I will get myself together. But my plan is, with Publish and Thrive, is to get through all 5 modules, and then make my business plan for what I'm doing going forward, and then implement all of it for the fantasy series, and then from there on out. That's my plan. So I'm not going to immediately retrospectively fix whatever I did with the Amanda Grace books and the Mandi Grace Robin Hoods. They're going to be part of my business, obviously. I'm not, like, getting rid of them by any means, but I'm not going to make my business plan right now because I have books out already. I'm going to do it, you know, right. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to compile my notes, figure out what I want to do, put it into action, publish the fantasy series. Anyway, we're moving on to Module 4 next week, which is the week you're currently in if you're watching this on the day that it comes out, which is the marketing module, mind you. And the one that I would have said going into it was my weakest point and what I needed the most, but turns out I've been learning a lot in every single one of these modules, so I knew nothing about publishing. But anyway, I am very excited about the marketing module, so it should be good. Oh, I just thought of something, because we discussed Publish and Thrive on it, so it just came to mind because I was talking about Publish and Thrive. But with the Quill and Cup stuff, one of the ladies has a podcast and offered it up for us to do interviews with her for her podcast, which I jumped on. It's not out yet. But when it is, I will let you know, because I have done an interview on a podcast, which sounds so official. Alright, the next thing on my list says missing notebooks. This one makes me sad. So I moved here in April with my family. And in the move, I lost my unused notebooks, which is depressing for one real reason. There's a couple of journals that I vaguely have a memory of that I'm like, did I have that? Where is it now? But there's one bullet journal that I got in a Bethany Altazada care package, words are hard, for Preptober or November NaNoWriMo stuff. I don't know. When she was sending the care packages, I want to say last year. Might have been the year before. I don't remember how long ago it was. Time is a strange thing. Anyway. Point being, I had this gray bullet journal with a... I just did my hand like you would know what that meant. A typewriter stamped on the front. That was the hand motion. Yeah, and I was really looking forward to using it when this is empty, which is going to be after December. I mean, not empty, full, you know what I mean. There's no pages left. I counted them, and it's perfectly numbered to December. But anyway, so I was looking around for my Bethany Altazada care package notebook, and then was like, I have other journals too, because I bullet journal. I just told the camera that I needed to check if you were filming, because the last time that I was filming like this, I talked for more than 30 minutes and it died. And, like, it doesn't close the lens to show me that it's dead, and the red light's on the back and not the front where I can see it, which is unhelpful. So anyway, it died and missed part of my ranting, and so I was like, hey, camera, I'm gonna come check on you so that it doesn't happen again, and I looked back there, and it was dead. So I have no idea what I missed, or if it even started filming. Guys, I'm halfway down the list of things that I was talking about. I really hope that it was filming for all of this nonsense. I don't want to start over. I'm gonna check and see where it died, and we'll start up from there. Yeah. That was depressing. And I'm spilling tea. It's going well. In watching to see how far it went before it died on me at the 30-minute mark, I realized that entire 30 minutes is relatively out of focus. So I'm not refilming it. Just deal with it. You've already dealt with it. We've moved on. So anyway, it got right up to my rant about missing notebooks. You missed most of the rant about the missing notebooks, but what it all boils down to is I really want the Bethany Altazada bullet journal. Don't have it. And it's nowhere in my room because I dug everything out recently and was like, every box that has come with me, everything, where is it? It wasn't here. So, it's either just gone and lost forever, or in a box of my family members, and they just happened to have not opened it yet, because they have some unopened boxes still from the move. So they just haven't noticed that they have someone else's box. Or it is at the farm, because I sent my inventory to the farm because there's no space for it here, because I've been holding on to hundreds of books, it feels like, since 2020, when I was supposed to go to an in-person convention to sell books. Did not go, obviously. So, yes, I have a bunch of inventory. I've been holding on to it forever. I sent it to the farm so I didn't have to hold on to it after the move because there's too much space in here. So yes, it's possible that I accidentally sent the unused notebooks with the inventory, and I need to check there. If it's not there, I'm assuming it's lost and gone forever, and I'm gonna cry. Next thing on my list is my reading life. So, in terms of reading, what have I been reading? Nothing whatsoever. I did so well last month. Here's what happened. I focused on the writing craft book, so yeah. It's actually taken me surprisingly a while to read Wise Sphere. I think it's just because it's a big book, because I'm loving every single page of it, not bored by any of it, and when I sit down to write, I'm not writing it, who am I kidding? When I sit down to read it, it's an easy read, and I read many, many pages in a single go. But, you know, when the book's 1,000 pages, you can read 100 a day and still, like, take 10 days to read it. Oh, this is usually the point where I talk about the writing, because I talk about my reading and the writing. But I already talked about the writing because I talked about Quill and Cup. I'm writing a lot. Lance's story is coming along very, very nicely. I just re-outlined it because, if you watch any of my writing vlogs, I think I mention almost every single time that the Take Off Your Pants outline, while so much fun to do while reading the Take Off Your Pants book, not been so great to create scenes out of, because it's just, I don't know how to describe this, and I don't know if the people watching this are writers or readers, so, like, you may not even, like, understand if I read the outline to you, but I kind of want to read the outline to you so that you can see how it's like, what am I supposed to do with that? The point is, the Take Off Your Pants thing, the outline was, like, solely the big emotional beats, and not, like, the plot that led to this big emotional beat. It was like, no, this is just what your character's feeling internally at this point in time. Whatever that point in time is, who knows, but it's this point in the story. It was super unhelpful. It was like, okay, so Lance has a lot of self-doubt, worth, do I have value issues, okay, because of his past and his upbringing and the truth about him, all the things, which you don't know, and you're not going to know. Spoilers. Actually, I don't know. Have I spoiled this before on my channel? I don't know. Maybe I've talked about it. Who knows? Anyway, the point is, he's got a lot of, like, do I have value? And he becomes a knight in Asgard so that he can prove he has value. That country, kingdom, it's probably not keeping that name, because every time my sister reads it, she busts out laughing hysterically because she has the mind of a child. It didn't sound funny in my head. That's a whole other thing. Point being, he became a knight in this specific kingdom, whose name shall be determined. And because he wanted to prove that he was worthy. And he rose high in the ranks, and now he's part of the royal guard to the prince, and he's like, I've made it! But inside he's still like, do I have value to these people? Probably not. Yeah. So he's got all of that going on, and as he goes along his journey, he learns to accept himself, I get. That sounds really cheesy, but, like, he comes out the other side like, okay, I am inherently valuable because I am a person. It's beautiful and it's meaningful, okay? It sounds cheesy, but it's good. Anyway, the point is, the pants outline, Take Off Your Pants outline was like, Lance feels awful. Lance learns lesson. You know, like, those are not the words that are on the outline, but that's what it feels like when I look at it and I'm trying to make a scene. And it was frustrating me to no end. So on my last prickle, I read the last scene that I'd written for Lance, and then I was like, where am I going with this? I don't know. So then I just pulled out Save the Cat, which is my savior, and I re-outlined the whole kit and caboodle, and I loved it. It also made me realize that Messiah's half of the outline is actually really weak and needs some tweaking. And then reading the outline to my sister, actually having her read it while I stood next to her and, like, tried to explain all the things, and she was like, what does this mean? That was actually really helpful, and now I have more things to tweak on the outline that I already, you know, remade. But it's been good. It's been very good. And I think the story's about to go in some amazing directions, and I'm super happy about it. Also, this is going to possibly be more than a 4-book series, because when I outlined the series, this book was supposed to be Lance's book to, like, become his own person and do this thing that I can't talk about unless I've already talked about it, because, you know, did I spoil it? I don't know. But anyway, this is his book to do this thing that he's doing over in this other country. And it's not happening. I mean, it's happening, but it's not happening. So, it's just, wars don't happen as quickly as one might think when outlining, and, politics, civil wars, good stuff, it takes time that one does not take into consideration when one is outlining. So, one being me. So yes, Lance's journey, which I was like, this will be a 1-book arc, is going to be a bit longer, which means the rest of the series might also stretch. I don't know, maybe it won't. Maybe just this specific storyline will go into books 3 and 4 when I thought that it wouldn't. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Whatever. But I think it's all good. I think it's all really good stuff. I love the outline. I love Save the Cat. It saves my life. I should have started with Save the Cat, but the thing is, I wanted to do the Take Off Your Pants one. I should have known better. So there you go. That's the writing. Everything's coming along nicely. And after I outline with Save the Cat, I am essentially, like, to the midpoint beat of stuff that I've already written from a Take Off Your Pants outline. So I basically have half the novel left to write from the beautiful outline that I have made. But it was nice to see the first half of the novel in the perspective of the Save the Cat beats, because then I knew what I was looking at, and I was like, this works. It builds up beautifully. Book 1 is going to need a lot of help. It's not as well-rounded. And also it doesn't end. So here's the deal. I don't remember my writing vlogs from the first book, to be honest, and I don't know if I discussed how poorly I ended that book. But what happened was, I got to the end of my outline and stopped, even though the story was not done. There was no resolution. It just kind of ended. And no resolution for this story that had just happened. Like, a main character had died, there had been a dragon hunt, the king was naming the heir, and Messiah had, you know, started a coup because she wanted to be the heir, and, like, there was a whole political fiasco. Nothing was wrapped up at the end of my outline, and I just stopped writing. So there's that. But then I also did not set up what was coming in book 2, so I didn't, like, tie off all the bows, and then I definitely did not be like, where are we going next? None of that. The book just ends abruptly. So it's going to need an overhaul from start to finish, and then it will need a finish at some point. Don't know. But it's been really interesting to write book 2, because even though I didn't like writing off the Take Off Your Pants outline because I could not draw scenes out of these emotional beats, it was driving me nuts. The story itself, the book, is so well-rounded, and everything builds to the next thing, and, like, ugh. I know when I'm done with it, I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to be like, wow, there's so much I can fix and revise before I give this to anyone to look at. But, even so, it looks good. And I'm feeling really confident about it. First of all, because when I did the outline, I realized that, the first half of what I'd written, which I wasn't necessarily outlining with the Save the Cat, like, I was writing down the things that had already happened that I had written in the specific beats. I was like, okay, so this is the opening image. What did I write? Write it down. Basically, is what I was doing. But it fit, and it worked, and it was all like, I know what I'm doing. Even when I don't, like, start with the Save the Cat outline, it was, it made me so happy. But anyway, it looks good on paper, and, there's that. But on top of that, with the Quill and Cup ladies, there was one prickle where I was discussing which scene I was going to be writing, and then Nani was like, you have to share this so that people can read it, and, you know, kill your writer you, or whatever. That's a favorite thing to say. So anyway, I shared it that day, but I was feeling really uncomfortable and self-conscious about it. so I didn't read over what I had written. I was just like, there it is, and tried to ignore it. And then someone, you know, commented on it and was like, these are my thoughts on the scene. And I was like, I should really go read the scene so I know what on earth they're talking about, because I just, you know, wrote it in the moment or whatever. And I went and read it, and it was gorgeous. Not that there weren't spelling mistakes, because I type really fast and I don't go back to check things because I'm typing really fast. And it's not like there weren't a bunch of brackets. So I use brackets when I come to something, when I'm in the middle of a flow. I'm writing really fast, don't have time to stop. I use brackets if there's anything that I don't have a name for, or I don't know what it is, or I'm like, what am I even saying? I don't know. It's things to come back for and like add in description or research something or like whatever. And there are a bunch of brackets in that scene because Lance is going along in this forest and stuff is happening. I don't know. And I have brackets for, he goes by this like empty field, and I have like brackets that say like grain question mark, because I don't know what time of year it is. I was doing a timeline, but I'm really bad at like keeping up. Like after I write a scene, I forget to go and look at the timeline and be like, what day was this? Anyway, I'll fix that later. But the point is, don't know what time of year it is, / what grain would be growing in this country, / would it even be grain at all? I don't know. Anyway, so I knew that I needed to edit that, but it's a field of some sort, so I just said grain in brackets. And then also during the conversation, the entire conversation takes place with this person that I did not know was a character until the scene happened. And so I just called him leader name of this particular village. He's the leader of the village. I call him leader name in brackets every single time that he comes up in a he said, she said, whatever. So leader name, leader name, leader name. So that bracket is there a lot. And then anytime they mention other random people that apparently we're supposed to know, but I don't know yet, and I haven't named them because they're not actual characters, it just says name in brackets, name in brackets. So there are a lot of brackets in that scene, and then there's, you know, misspelled words and random things because I type really fast and I don't go back to look at it. Right now I'm talking really fast and like spewing all the words, but anyway, point being, it's not beautiful in the sense of the scene is so perfectly polished. But it was beautiful in the sense of it exactly conveyed the emotion I was trying to convey, and it had descriptions, which is my weakest point, and it was gorgeous. I loved it. I was so proud of that scene after I finally went back and wrote it, and I was like, wow, this needs a lot of help, but wow. So anyway, yes, all of that is to say, I'm very proud of Lance's story, and the way that I've written it, and the way that the book is just, it's all coming together in a way that Messiah's did not, and I'm just so happy with it. The problem with Messiah, looking back, the problem with the first book, one, it was book one, so I really had no idea about the world or anything, and I was telling myself what was happening as I was writing it, because I was like, we're in a country. Oh, and maybe this country is bordered by mountains and a forest? And possibly there's a Spartan country to the south that are our allies. I don't know. Anyway, that's kind of how it reads, I feel like, because I was just making it up on the spot. So it wasn't as good. And in Lance's story, I know the world. I know the kingdoms, I know the politics, I know the magic system, I know what's happening. So it's less of me telling myself the story the way I was in the other one, because I was literally making up facts as I went along. Where in this one, I know the facts. So instead of telling myself the story, I'm like living it with Lance. It's a whole different experience. So that's part of the problem. But I also think part of the problem is just I have a better grasp on Lance's story than Messiah's. Because when I started Messiah's, I was like, she's a princess, she's passed over for the heir, she wants to be heir, she starts a civil war to become heir because ambition. And then halfway through the book, I was like, well, maybe her selfish ambition transitions into wanting to be the queen to actually help people that she has a connection to because she's magical, that her brother would not be able to help in the same way, so maybe it becomes an unselfish ambition at some point. Like, I was making up her character arc as we went along, and with every writing craft book that I was reading, I think I was doing Story Genius at that time, maybe? Anyway, the writing craft books I was reading were like, oh, maybe this is Messiah, what is that? This is Messiah's story arc. And then with every, scene I wrote in the book, I was like, oh, but maybe this is Messiah's story arc, I don't know. And with Lance, I've known from the time that I outlined with Take Off Your Pants, which was, disaster. But anyway, since I outlined with Take Off Your Pants, I've known exactly what his storyline is, and every scene that I've written since then has built on that story arc, and re-outlining with Save the Cat has just sharpened and honed in on that story arc. Like, he's just so well put together, and I love him. And Messiah's a hot mess, and I need to rework her entire book, and blah. So there's that. Anyway. Yeah, there's a lot going on. The other problem, there's 3 problems, I guess. The other problem with Messiah's story is that I was still working out the magic system. So a lot of the scenes with the magic or with Messiah being put to the test, she is so Mary Sue. She just does things. And, you know, magically everything works out. And it's not good. It's not good storytelling. Yeah, so book 1's a hot mess. And on that note, with the Quill and Cup ladies, we have this thing where we can partner up, or really Anya partners us up, that's what happens, with other writers of similar skill set, genres, temperament, I don't know what all she takes into consideration, but things, which is essentially a critique partner, which is something that I've always wanted, and I'm so excited. I'm like, yes, I've got it. Anyway, I love Quill and Cup. They're the best thing that ever happened to me. That's a different subject altogether. What was I talking about? Your critique partners. We call them BFFs, your best feedback friends. Anyway, the point of all that tangent is I'm starting with mine on Sunday, which was 2 days ago for you if you're watching this and the day is coming out. I'm excited, and she's excited, and it's going to be great. But the problem is to get her chronologically through the story, because we discussed it, and that's what we decided what we're doing, because that makes the most sense. To get her chronologically through the story, she has to start with Messiah's book, which 1 is a first draft and disgusting and nobody wants to look at. 2, it's one of my worst first drafts ever, I feel like, because I didn't finish the book. I just quit when my outline stopped, and I was like, okay, moving on to the next one. It's not pretty. And then the other thing is that Messiah's story arc wanders all over the place, and I'm well aware of that because I didn't know what her story arc was, and I kept changing it, and it's... And then her magic and the magic system as a whole is sort of wishy-washy throughout. Anyway, there's a lot of things in book 1 that I'm already aware are a disaster, and I'm a little wary of giving it to someone without, you know, giving them the caveat of being like, this is a disaster. But she knows it's a first draft, and she's a writer, so she knows what first drafts look like, and I'm pretty sure that she's going to be perfectly capable of seeing the story beneath the mess, and I'm hoping that I'm also able to do that for her. I'm hoping it will be magical and wonderful and perfect. But I am wary, because starting with Messiah's book is embarrassing. If we were starting with Lance's book and she already knew what was going on, like, it'd be much less embarrassing, because there are some bad patches, there's some interesting writing and choices that I've made, but the story as a whole is so crisp and clean, and Lance's whole story arc is just mwah! I can't do the chef's kiss thing. How do you, which fingers do the, whatever, it's perfect. I've been talking about this for a long time, and I'm really worried it's not filming again. I'm checking. Hey-o, 25 minutes. I've got 5 minutes to wrap up. Are you ready? Here we go. Whew. Wrap it all up really quick. Closing thoughts. 5 minutes. Whew, probably 4 at this point. Who knows? Publish and Thrive is going really, really well. I'm learning a lot. I'm super excited to actually implement all the things and have a business plan moving forward with the fantasy story, and then incorporating my other Mandi and Amanda Grace books. Very excited. Great stuff. And I'm about to do the marketing module, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm super excited. With the writing world, everything is going well. Lance's story is amazing. Quill and Cup is amazing. I love my life. In the reading world, I've been a little slow on the reading thing, but I'm going to pick it up. It's going to be fine. I've loved both books that I've been reading, Wired for Story and Wise Man's Fear, so that's great. I just need to read faster. But I've been sick and camping, so there hasn't been a lot of time to do things, okay? Forgive me. No judgment here. Val is adorable. I'm missing my favorite notebook, and I'm so sad about it. There were those stupid copyright claims. Yeah, that's everything. Boom, done. Okay. If you enjoyed this really long-winded video, subscribe, and you can see my writing vlogs where I, actually write Lance's story, which is perfection. You definitely want to stay involved with that. And I talk about the books that I'm reading, like Wise Man's Fear, or the writing craft books that I'm doing every single month. Lots of various reading of books things. I like doing reading vlogs. Love them. So yes, you can keep up with that. If you ring the little notification bell, you won't even miss any of my uploads. It'll be fantastic. Like this video, comment, all the things. Share the love. This is probably not the greatest video to share around because it's just me ranting at the camera. But you could find one of my videos that you actually really enjoy and then share that one. Did we make it in the 4 minutes? Or do I have to redo all of that? Hey, we got 30 seconds, you guys. What? I feel like I should fill this 30 seconds because I made it in the 30 seconds. What else should we talk about? Lance is amazing, and I love him. I'm gonna marry him. I should do character art for the boys. I did character art for Messiah and her crew. I should do some for the boys. Because they're really pretty. Wow, that sounded shallow. That's not, I meant like in